Welcome to this screencast on configuring Eclipse to follow the ICS Java coding standard that we'll be using for this class. First off, I have my coding standard here, and so you should read through this when you have a chance. We use good naming for all identifiers and names. So we use camel case, but that has nothing to do with the configuration. So the first one, we want to actually make sure that we always add comments to our classes and methods. So in the Eclipse, we want to set our preferences or settings if you're in Windows box. We want to go to Java, code style, code templates, and we want to make sure that we click the automatically add comments to new methods and types. So that when we create a new class or a new type or a new method, it will automatically insert the comment. So I will say OK. I will now create a new class, and I'll call it class 1. And you can see that the generate comments selector is already done, and I can say finish. And you can see the first problem that I have is that I have the author tag, which I want, because we want to identify the author, but it's going to use my username as I'm logged into my laptop. So I want to actually edit that template. So to do that, go to preferences or settings again. We're on the code templates, comments, the types, and see how we're using the variable user. I'm going to edit that, and I'll put my name in. And I say OK. And I say OK. Or I should say apply. Say OK. It asks me where I want to save it. I say save that. So now if I delete this class and create a new class, class 2, again, got the comments, finish, we now have the correct author tag. So now let's move on to the next indentation. We want to indent spacing between lines. So I want to make sure that I have 2 spaces between each method. Preferences, and now this is code style, the formatter. I want to edit the formatter because right now you can see there's only 1 space between methods, and I want it, our coding style says we need 2 spaces. So I need to edit this. Further on down, we want to say we want to put 2 spaces, not 4. So we want to change this to spaces only. We want this to be 2, 2. Statements within case. So this looks pretty good. So now let's go to braces. We want to make sure there's a space before the brace. That's in the white space, but we want it on the same line, so that looks good. So now white space, we want to make sure that we have a space before the curly brace. That looks good. Blank lines, and this is where we wanted to get 2 lines between the methods. Where's the method declaration? So we want this to be 2. The rest of this looks good. New lines. We do want to have the else. It's actually control statements. We want to have else if on one line, but we want a new line, so we want the else's to be on their own line, we want the catches to be on their own line, and a finally to be on their own line, so that we have that. It's easier to see where things line up, in my opinion. Line wrapping is fine. Comments, in our Java doc, if we look at our comments in our Java doc here, the param and the variable name are on the same line, so we need to add a new line after, no, we don't want this add a new line after the param tag. So now it lines up, and that's much more like our example. And then line width, that's 80 is fine. And now we want to edit the name of this. So we want to call it ICS. ICS is fine. We can say OK. Make sure we're using ICS and say OK. Spacing within lines, we've got that. Looks good. Indentation is 2. That looks good. We can do that. Program modules. So now we have applied the coding standards. So we want to say OK. And now when we create a new class, let's create a method in here. And now we can use the insert java.comment, and it automatically creates the comment. That is, in my case, meta option J, and Windows, I believe it's Control-Alt-J. Let's make another class quickly. Make another class, excuse me. And we want to call it class 3. We're going to create a method. Finish. And here's class 3. We got our method. It's automatically given us the start of our Java doc that we need to do. So now we can fill in the rest. And that's my class. Thank you very much for your attention.